Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about Math64 quickly. Doing the current revision. So in this revision, we're going to clean up the code into something that resembles an actual library we could just include and use. And testing a bit of an idea I had the other day about rather than having scripts externalized, you have them in your project. And here's the add vectors function, pretty much internalized. Now, this does not mean that PB understands the code. It's very important to understand this. These functions are simply hidden inside an if directive that PB will ignore this block of code at compile time, because otherwise it wouldn't understand what this stuff does. Like, these are all unknown keywords in PB land. You can get around that a little bit by adding a PLI file, which is like a library highlighter. Very unknown kind of secondary thing about the IDE. There's these library highlighters up here. There's some you can, if you're using these includes, you can choose to include the highlighters, which means the IDE can highlight function names. Now, I've added a simple one for this Math64 scripts, so the function names would be highlighted. So ideally it'll make it a bit easier to write scripts. I'm not sold on the idea at the moment, but I think it will. So what you would do is you have a header, which has to be this functions Math64 script, and then you have the name of this particular function with two brackets at the end. That's needed because PB will actually see this function and it has to make sense to PB, even though the function's not getting passed through the compiler at the very end anyway. So it has to make syntactical sense to it. Same here, the second script here is down here, it's called if example on that block of code. Now what I was going to do is just have you have the whole thing inside a comment, which is what I've done countless times before in other projects. But it doesn't highlight, you don't really, you sort of is that code, is it something else? What's actually happening here is if we run this thing, if we run this in debug mode, for example, we've actually loaded that source file at runtime. See this part here? This is the actual source file with the testscripts.pba source file. And skimming through it and then grabbing the names of the functions we're finding in it. So what it'll do is it'll just grab that text, and then that text will be passed to the Math64 compiler. And that'll generate your little program, and then you'll run the program, which is the bytecode representation of this source code. And it means you don't have to store them out as text files all the time. You can store them inside your project, so when you copy the thing around or share your project with someone else, they can have those scripts embedded. It's pretty convoluted, yeah, okay, but maybe it's just a tad easier for people to manage when things are all inside the IDE. Just a thought, don't shoot me, but it will work. Here it's not hooked up at the moment. With this code this is the same test code as normal, and it's loading this source file here off disk. So beyond here is the standard output that you've seen a million times before over the last 6 months, which is hard to believe it's been 6 months, but it has been. So I'll get this done hopefully later on tonight. I've got to go to the doctor's soon and do a bunch of other stuff for mum, so that'll have to do for today. So anyway, stay cool, have fun, and enjoy your holidays if you're on holidays, and hopefully if you're in Australia, it's almost sunny. Almost. We've had the coldest winter on record. The coldest summer in quite a while lately. Crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.